What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Saturday, June 15th, 2024, and I have another emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 1400 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from the Baltic Sea. So, what you're looking at here is a Russian fighter jet that violated Swedish airspace near the Gotland Island, which is a small island in the middle of the Baltic Sea. So, according to the Swedish Army, a Russian Sukhoi 24 combat aircraft violated Swedish airspace east of the Gotland Island on Friday, and it had to be escorted by two Swedish JAS 39 Gripen fighter jets. So this is very, very serious, guys. Russia literally violated Sweden's airspace with one of their fighter jets. They flew into the airspace of the Gotland Island, which is a Swedish island close to Kaliningrad and Latvia. And a spokesperson for the Swedish Armed Forces told local media that the Swedish military tried to contact the Russian plane but received no response. And here we have an official press release from the Swedish Armed Forces. Okay, you can see the date here, June 15th. The Air Force rejected Russian fighter jets. On Friday afternoon, the Air Force's incident response rejected Russian warplanes from Swedish territory east of Gotland. And then they have the picture here. So they clearly say Swedish territory. Okay, they rejected Russian warplanes from Swedish territory. Okay, so that means that it flew into Swedish territory. It was on Friday afternoon that a Russian Sukhoi 24 fighter plane violated Swedish airspace east of the southern tip of Gotland. The Russian aircraft was warned by verbal call from Swedish Air Combat Command. When this was not heeded and the aircraft did not deviate from its route, it was rejected from Swedish airspace by a JAS 39 Gripen. The Russian action is not acceptable and shows a lack of respect for our territorial integrity. We followed the entire process and were there to intervene, says Air Force Chief Jonas Wickman. The offense was short lived. The last corresponding unauthorized flights were made by Russia was in 2022 when two Russian Sukhoi 27s and two Russian Sukhoi 24s violated Swedish airspace also over Gotland. And last night, we had three Polish Air Force planes go to the Gotland Island. I don't know if this was related to that, but there was a Polish C-130 and two Polish Kasa planes that went all the way up to the Gotland Island late last night. And then yesterday, we also had more reconnaissance around the Gotland Island. We had this Swedish reconnaissance plane flying over the Gotland Island. And then there was also a U.S. Marine Corps Osprey flying in the Baltic Sea, as well as a U.S. Navy Sikorsky Nighthawk in this area as well. And then yesterday morning, we had a B-52 and two sub hunters fly in the Baltic Sea. One of the sub hunters actually flew right over the Gotland Island and was looping there for a while. But here we have one of the sub hunters. It looped over this island here near the Danish Straits, near northern Poland, and it went all the way up to Latvia near the Gotland Island. Here's the B-52. It flew all the way to this island here, and it was looping right near the island for like 2 hours, and then it turned around and went back to the UK. Here's the other sub hunter that was looping over the Gotland Island yesterday morning. So obviously NATO knows that something is going on over here. So this is very, very serious, guys. And I wanted to just update you guys on the situation with the Russian sub and the Russian warships in Cuba. So a viewer of the channel apparently knows somebody in the Coast Guard, and the person they know in the Coast Guard confirmed that Patriot missiles have been deployed in Florida to protect Florida from any Russian attack. And that's in addition to 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers that the U.S. deployed to the region, which probably have the Aegis missile defense system to shoot down any Russian missiles if they were to fire them at us. And the U.S. House of Representatives passed a measure yesterday that would automatically register men for selective service between the ages of 18 and 26. And this update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply has all kinds of prepping and survival products, from potassium iodide to emergency food to water purification, solar generators, everything you can imagine in their general store. And they have special discounts set up just for you, the viewers of NYPrepper. And to get those discounts, you got to use my link, preparewithnyprepper.com. The link is in the description below this video. And once you get to that site, you got to look for the My Patriot Supply logo. You click on that logo and it'll take you to their general store. And right now they're actually doing a $50 discount on the Grid Doctor solar generator, but they have all kinds of discounts here on emergency food, water filters, bug out bag items, potassium iodide. They're actually selling potassium iodide for $10 a bottle with 60 pills in each bottle. That is such a good deal, guys. Normal price, $25 a bottle. So you get yourself a few of those bottles and you have enough potassium iodide for several families. So use the link, preparewithnyprepper.com. And remember, when you get to that page, click on the My Patriot Supply logo to access the general store with all of the discounts. The bill passed by a vote of 217 to 199. The bill now heads to the Senate, so we're getting one step closer to a draft here in the United States. And we had the Norwegian Air Force and NATO practice dispersing their F-35'S. And what you're looking at here is an underground bunker complex at Bardufoss Air Base in northern Norway. And they took these pictures from the exercise. You could see these F-35'S that they have in these bunkers underneath a mountain, okay? And F-35'S are nuclear capable, and Norway has 52 of these, okay? So each one of these is like a mini stealth bomber, okay? So it's like 52 mini stealth bombers that Norway has, and they could fly right into northern Russia and bombard the Russian Northern Fleet base in Murmansk, okay? But let me just read to you an official press release here. Recently, photos surfaced online showing underground shelters at Norway's Bardufoss Air Force Base. These images appear to have been taken during a Norwegian Air Force exercise featuring fifth-generation F-35 Lightning II fighter jets practicing in underground shelters within a mountain complex. You should know that Norway is a NATO member and that the F-35 aircraft are fully certified to carry tactical nuclear weapons. Housing these planes in underground shelters makes them almost immune to missile and drone attacks. Bardufoss is now a key military airbase operated by the Royal Norwegian Air Force. It holds significant strategic value due to its closeness to the Arctic region and its vital role in Norway's defense setup. The airbase is equipped with a single runway designated 1028, spanning 2,443 meters or 8,015 feet. This versatile runway can accommodate an assortment of military aircraft, from fighter jets to transport planes and helicopters, enabling Bardufoss to support a wide range of offensive and defensive operations. Norway has ordered a total of 52 F-35 Lightning II aircraft from Lockheed Martin as part of its effort to modernize its air force. So, huge news, guys. Okay, Norway and NATO conducting an F-35 dispersal exercise, moving F-35s to this underground base in northern Norway. Okay, so this base is basically immune to any kind of missile attacks except maybe earth penetrating nuclear warheads. okay? But this is clearly a sign that NATO is preparing for war with Russia, okay? F-35s are designed for delivering tactical nukes. Okay, Russia has placed all their tactical nukes on full combat alert along the border of Ukraine and also along the border of Finland and the Baltics. They just started their quote unquote second phase of tactical nuclear weapons exercises, but really it's a deployment, it's not an exercise. And in this second phase, they included the Leningrad military district, which borders Finland and the Baltics. Okay. So basically, Putin has put tactical nukes along the border of Ukraine, also in Belarus, along the border of Poland and Lithuania, and then along the border of Finland and the Baltics. And he just gave Ukraine his final warning. And I think what's going to happen is Putin is going to use those tactical nukes on Ukraine, and he positioned them along the border of NATO just in case NATO tries to get involved. Then he would strike NATO countries with them. But I think we're going to see it this year before the change of presidents, because I think Putin is afraid of Trump. So he's going to want to do this before Trump gets elected, because he knows that Biden is weak. He even said himself, when he was asked if he preferred Trump or Biden, and he said, for us as Russia, Biden is actually better for us, basically saying that Biden is weak and it's better for us, you know. So Putin's basically given Ukraine a final warning. He's given NATO a final warning, giving his demands, his ultimatum, and he's pointing the nukes at Ukraine and NATO now. And he's basically saying, give me Eastern Ukraine, tell Ukraine not to join NATO, and maybe we won't use these tactical nukes. He's basically doing the same thing he did right before the war, where he moved 150,000 troops to the border, and he gave his demands and said, listen, if you don't do what we say, we're going to invade. And he's doing the same thing now, except with tactical nukes, okay? And he repeatedly said that he's not bluffing. So I think we're going to see it, guys. And NATO is preparing for it. They're flying B-52s into the Baltic. They're doing this F-35 dispersal exercise. I think we're going to see these F-35s bombarding Russian positions in Ukraine after Putin uses the tactical nukes, because that's how NATO is going to respond. They're going to respond by striking the Russian forces in Ukraine and devastating them and wiping them out in response. And so they need to make sure that they have shelters in case Russia tries to strike these fighter jets. And I wanted to just update you on this peace conference in Switzerland. So the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said that Putin's proposal regarding Ukraine should not be taken seriously, and Ukraine wants no new variations of the 2014 Minsk agreements or the 1994 Budapest Memorandum, as they failed to provide Ukraine with reliable guarantees. Participants of Ukraine's Global Peace Summit will seek to formulate a new joint peace plan based on Zelensky's formula. The presidential office head, Andriy Yermak, told the BBC News Today. This plan would then be presented to Russia. So very interesting. And I don't think Russia's going to go for it, obviously. And Zelensky said today at the Ukrainian Peace Summit that today Putin must be put in his place by all means possible, strengthening Ukraine, powerful sanctions, political isolation. Putin should switch from the language of ultimatums to the language of the world majority, which wants a just peace. And the Prime Minister of the UK, Rishi Sunak, said that Putin has no interest in genuine peace. He's launched a sustained diplomatic campaign against this very summit, ordering countries to stay away. And Chancellor of Germany, Olaf Scholz, said peace is more than the absence of war. An immediate ceasefire without serious negotiations, without a roadmap towards a just and lasting peace, merely on the basis of so-called new realities, would only legitimize Russia's illegal land grab. And the Prime Minister of Japan said peace should never justify the unilateral change of status quo by force or coercion. And China's calling on Ukraine and Russia to start peace talks as soon as possible. This was stated by China's deputy representative to the UN, Gang Shuang. He called on Ukraine and Russia to demonstrate political will to end the war. And Biden and Zelensky signed a bilateral security deal today. And the U.S. is going to provide Ukraine with $1.5 billion in aid to support the country's energy infrastructure, address humanitarian needs, and bolster civilian security, Vice President Kamala Harris said today. And the Morozovsk airfield located in Russia's Rostov Oblast was attacked by at least 70 Ukrainian drones on June the 13th, according to Ukraine's military intelligence chief Kirill Budanov. And negotiations for the accession into the EU of Ukraine and Moldova will start on June the 25th. Want to just show you guys some more flight paths here. Here we have a presidential doomsday plane that went to Offutt Air Base late last night, took off from DC and went to Stratcom. Very concerning. We also had this U.S. Navy Sikorsky Nighthawk flying pretty far offshore from Cape Hatteras, potentially investigating some Russian subs. And we currently have a lot of sub hunter activity in the Gulf of Mexico. We actually have 2 sub hunters that are operating in the Gulf of Mexico right now. Okay. So this is very, very concerning, keeping an eye on the Russian warships. And then we have this press release here from the Polish military talking about their new program called the Eastern Shield. And they're explaining what they're going to be doing to fortify the border with Belarus and Russia. So it says here they're going to be building anti-tank trenches. They're going to be deepening existing drainage trenches. They're going to be mining roads and bridges. And then they're going to be strengthening natural terrain obstacles. Okay, so this is extremely serious, guys. And this is going to happen all along the Polish border with Belarus and Russia, the entire eastern and northern part of Poland. Very, very serious. And we had some NATO encrypted traffic yesterday over the radio waves. So NATO was on high alert, probably because of the airspace violation over the Gotland Island. Let me just play this for you. So this is just NATO encrypted traffic. And then here we have the Polish numbers station, which was active late last night. This is a Polish intelligence station broadcasting instructions, encrypted instructions to its operatives worldwide. And here we have a Russian soldier posing with an American Bradley that was destroyed and captured in eastern Ukraine. And U.S. officials expressed concern about Israel going after Hezbollah. They told CBS News that they interpret the recent deeper strikes by Israel inside of Lebanese territory as preparing the battlefield for a sweeping assault by Israeli Defense Forces. Hezbollah has responded by launching larger rocket attacks into Israel. These officials are increasingly concerned that Israel will start a war against Hezbollah in Lebanon that it cannot finish without American support. And a prominent journalist in the Hezbollah-affiliated Al-Akbar newspaper reported that the Taliban has informed Iran of its readiness to send thousands of fighters to fight Israel when the opportunity arises. Okay, so the Taliban is going to attack Israel if Israel goes after Hezbollah. And Iran has already said that they would attack Israel if Israel goes after Hezbollah. And the North Korean military is carrying out engineering work in the demilitarized zone. Additional walls are being built and new roads are being built, according to the Yonhap news agency. That's South Korea's news. So, very concerning. And the Philippine military chief, Romeo Bronner, urges Filipino fishermen to keep operating in the country's exclusive economic zone in the South China Sea, despite China's new Coast Guard rules allowing it to detain quote unquote trespassers. And the Houthis have sunk another commercial ship. One person on this ship is missing, and the crew had to be evacuated. The British Maritime Authority said that the ship was targeted by the Houthis 2 days ago, and it's still burning and sinking. The crew of the commercial ship targeted by the Houthis confirmed its evacuation. This was a coal carrier called the Tudor, and severe damage was done by the Houthis from a missile strike. So this is very, very serious, guys. The Houthis are continuing to attack ships in the Red Sea. So things are really spiraling out of control around the world. Okay, Putin is about to nuke Ukraine. The Houthis are sinking ships. We have the situation in Israel with Hezbollah. Israel's about to invade Hezbollah. We have North Korea fortifying or actually building new roads and carrying out engineering work in the demilitarized zone. We have China reportedly moving missiles at night towards their coastline opposite of Taiwan, and some kind of strange tunneling going on over there near Taiwan and China as well. So all these war fronts are escalating. And in addition to that, we have the election this fall, and we also have bird flu on the rise. Okay. Here we have a U.S. Cobra Ball plane that flew from Offutt Air Base to Guam yesterday. And this is a plane used to track the trajectory of missiles. So it looks like North Korea may be testing a missile soon, and they're bringing this thing into the theater so they can track it. And we had a sub Hunter plane active off Taiwan's southern coastline. And here we have two U.S. Navy E-2 Hawkeyes. These are radar planes, and they landed on an aircraft carrier here off the coast of Baja California last night. So we know that there's a U.S. aircraft carrier operating here. And interestingly, this is the area where Russia was supposed to launch missiles into, and they issued a NOTAM for this area a few weeks back, and then they shortly canceled it once they found out that social media went wild. But that's the latest breaking news. I will be back later on tonight, possibly with more breaking news. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell down below so you get notified when I post these updates. Also, you can follow me on Telegram and Twitter. I post all my updates there. And until later on, have a good Saturday afternoon. Take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere. A popular antivirus company has just been fined $16 million because its privacy software was secretly being used to sell user data. For years, this antivirus software company harvested user information without their consent while tricking the users into thinking they were using privacy software. That's why I've been protecting my data with Virtual Shield 1. Thanks to Virtual Shield 1, my data is monitored and protected from data breaches, advertisers, tech giants, and cyber criminals. This advanced identity theft protection suite provides 24/7 peace of mind and security. It's easy to use, and if you use the link in the description below this video, which is virtualshield.com/deals/NYPrepper, you can save over 50% and get a 60-day risk-free trial. This includes unlimited bandwidth, anonymous browsing, and fast internet speeds across all of your devices. So use the link in the description below this video, which is virtualshield.com/deals/NYPrepper, to get a huge discount and a 60-day risk-free trial on Virtual Shield 1 identity theft protection.